I'm sitting at the National Election Center with ANC National Spokesperson Dakota Legoete. Comrade Dakota, can you tell me how did the ANC find the elections yesterday, the voter turnout? Are you happy with the IEC's handling of the elections?
Look, so far so good. As ANC, we are one of the parties that has raised concerns with the IEC on allegations of technical glitches which were raised, including the issue of the indelible ink, a possibility of people having voted twice, a situation where about 5 of our VDs were not opened, in particular in KwaZulu-Natal. So, but all in all, despite these particular technical glitches, we are also concerned about the possibility of some of these allegations, if they are not properly investigated, if we don't have facts, they can taint the integrity of the outcome of the election results. So we hope the IEC, together with the party licensing committee, will have enough capacity to can resolve these particular matters, because we know, just like in a soccer game, as the ANC, we are just players. We are a team that is contesting with other teams for the league title. The IEC is the referee, and there's also the party licensing committee, which is the fourth official, which is the match commissioner. So as it is now, we expect the referee to ask the match commissioner to show them the screen so that there can be a decision from the side of the referee, and that's what we are waiting for, so that the integrity and the reputation of the whole process is seriously protected, because our democracy is still young. You'd know, in most parts of the world where there are civil wars, where there is instability, it normally starts with elections if they are badly managed. And we hope it is not the case in our country. As South Africans, we call on all our people to have trust in their faith and the system, and those who administer the system also to serve us with honesty and diligence to ensure that we don't find ourselves in unnecessary problems. But so far, we hope the IEC will give us the answers after they've made their investigations, because they are the authority that administers and runs elections.
Comrade, I'm going to put you on the spot. Lodium and many of the other Indian areas in the past election, national elections 2014, we've seen a big vote for swing towards the DA. And the results that have come in from some of these areas like Lodium, Roshni, the traditional Muslim old Indian areas in these elections have swung more towards the ANC, actually overwhelmingly towards the ANC. What has the ANC done differently in terms of the Muslim community, the Indian community, to reassure them that the ANC is here to deliver? And what was your plan, and how did you execute this plan, especially in these areas where our listenership is based?
Look, one of the things that we have done, it's our policy stability and our policy positions. We have said it to all and sundry in the United Nations as a South African-led government under the African National Congress that will not agree with the brutality that is happening to our brothers and sisters in the Middle East, including children who are killed. We stood firm in the United Nations, and we resolved in our last conference in Nazareth that if Israel arrogance and part of their cahoots continue the way they do in North Africa, in the Middle East, and in other parts of Eastern world, we will not agree to it as the ANC. And I think you know, Muslim solidarity, Muslim brotherhood might be the factor for us to have done so well in those particular areas, because by and large, those areas which are affected in the Middle East religiously, those are Muslim countries, and some of them are faith believers of the Muslim religion, and I think we're not doing it for Muslims. It's a matter of principle, because as the ANC, we've always said all of us needs to live in peace side by side, without looking at the race, without looking at the gender, without looking at the creed or religion. We've always believed that we are a broad church, we are open, and that's why everybody in the ANC, be it a Jew, be it an African, be it an Indian, be it colored, be it white, be it whatever, they've always enjoyed being members of the African National Congress. And our conviction and our belief as an organization is that we have to create a better world for common humanity, where all nations will recognize each other for who they are than to look at others like children of a lesser God.
What role you think did President Cyril Ramaphosa play in swinging the ANC vote, especially if you see the current results, although it's still early days in provinces like Gauteng and especially?
Look, there was a crisis in our country. From our own reports as the ANC, as early as 2014, when we went to the NGC in 2015, there was an outcry that there are serious problems of corruption and state capture, and there is a serious maladministration and incompetence within most of our state institutions. So the public confidence on some of our state institutions collapsed. Or if they did not collapse, there was a social distance between ourselves as an organization and the general public. What President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Nasrec conference did was to say, let's acknowledge and own up to these mistakes. We have learned our hard lessons as the ANC, that sometimes if you trust your own cadres, they can disappoint you. Now what we have said as a conference is that there must be commissions of inquiry that are established to go and check the veracity and the depth of the crisis of state capture and corruption on state institutions. But part of the work that we need to do is to renew the African National Congress. We must never do the things the same again, where we allow individuals with impunity to use taxpayers' money and arrogate it to themselves as if it's their own personal fiefdom. And that particular point is a point that we are clear about as resolute as the ANC, that we'll have to fight state capture and corruption in all forms it takes. We must not allow them and any one of us to arrogate it to himself, to say that I'm an authority and I can do as I wish with impunity. It's wrong. Now, President Ramaphosa, as a leader of the party, was willing to lead that particular campaign. You'd realize that commission of inquiries have been established. The Nugent Commission was there on the issues of SARS. They recommended. The former commissioner was fired, including some of the close aides. And a new commissioner is being appointed now. You'd get it also that the Commission of Inquiry of Mokoro on the fitness of the former two NPA heads, recommendations were made. The president has fired them. Number of institutions and other areas. There's been a change in the leadership of the administration. As part of our effort, so far we've appointed a special team through government of the NPA that will be investigating all allegations that have been made in all commissions to ensure that we can investigate, prosecute and charge those who are in conflict with the law. So there is a commitment, and I think that particular commitment is not only verbal, you can see it in action. And that's what swayed the votes towards the ANC.
Mr. Legoete, thank you very much. We hope we speak to you tomorrow again after we have a better view of the results, and all the best for your party, and thank you very much for joining Lodium today and Channel Islam International.
No, inshallah, my brother, we wish you all the best in your Ramadan.
Thank you very much. That was ANC